Okay guys, so in today's video we're going to do something called in the hoop design, or an in the hoop design. The whole point of this is like it looks kind of quilty or just a project, like anything that you would sew up, but you're doing it all in your hoop and you don't really have to do too much. Having said that, you still do a little bit, okay? So there is some prep, maybe some cutting, some other things that we need to do, or finishing up, right? Like if you're doing a little quilted thing, you might have to do some seam binding around the edge, and then that, I think you're gonna have to take it off and do that yourself, because I mean there's a way for the machine to do that for the most part, but generally you still have to finish up or get it started somehow that maybe the machine can't do for you. I will say I did pick up this Singer Legacy SE-300 on HSN when it was their Today Special. It is no longer the Today Special, but it's still available there, so I'll link it in the description box. And those would be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. In this video, we're just gonna hit the ground running because I already have hour-long videos of, you know, setting up for embroidery, setting up obviously unboxing, setting it up for sewing, those first things. In these, you know, subsequent videos, I've been trying to focus on one kind of topic, one kind of thing. So we've done, you know, importing your own design, all these different things. Applique we did, I think, yesterday. And so today is similar to applique, but you're making a project. So we are going to use the larger hoop because this project thing needs a 5x7 hoop. So we're going to use one that is bigger than that. Hopefully that's not a problem. I don't think it will be. I should be able to put it on here even though it's from a 5x7 hoop. That shouldn't be an issue. We will see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. What I'm doing is I'm going to take you to my computer, and we're going to go over to my computer, and I'm going to show you how you can download a free file. Lots of companies, and especially embroidery companies, they'll let you have a free design, you know, maybe 10, 20, 15 of them that you can choose from or take them all or however. I guess in a way it's for you to see if you like their designs, how they work, you know, and show off a little bit. So this one's from Dime. I think it's Designs in Machine Embroidery or something. They have a lot of their own products. To be honest, I'm interested in their patch maker, but it's $400 for the software. And I'm like, wait, what? Because to me, I thought they have like a basic software like Embrilliance, you know, something like that. Embrilliance that runs like 135, 140. $400 just for the patch one. And I'm like, oh man, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'll have to find another. Embrilliance has a patch maker too, and it's less expensive. But anyway, I am interested in that. But you can definitely, it's basically an applique, but the whole thing with that is that again, I don't know what the Singer project or Singer, should I say, program does because I can't download it. The site is still down. So if you purchased this with HSN recently, you don't have it either unless you already had an account with them, and maybe it'll work for you. I don't know. It's not letting people sign in, so that's the other problem, or make a new account. So maybe there's a way there that you can mix shapes and fonts. I don't know that, or alphas. You can't do it here on board. Anyway, we're going to focus on making a little towel topper. I think it's very cute because it's just a separate piece. You can pop in whatever towel you want in there. So you're going to need a few different things, but we'll talk about that when we get back. So let me show you how to download, but you're just going to need some essential things. I am going to use a little bit quilt batting. They're recommending some foam stuff that they sell, but of course they sell that. But this is a free file. I'm going to show you how to get it, and then we'll go on from there. I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I already purchased, I guess, my design. It's free. It's not really purchased. You just have to put it in your cart and then just check out. They do not require you to make an account, which is nice. You know, they'll just send it to your email. So it's that kind of thing. Maybe I can, well, I think if I get there, it's going to show a lot of my information. But these are all their free designs. They have some really cute stuff. I mean, these little guys obviously are from like a collection. They're all very adorable. You know, guest towel or quest towel, it says, with scallop border. But we're looking for the, I was thinking about doing this one. But this guy, because I can tell it's in the hoop. It just looks very in the hoopish. So if you click on towel topper, and I'll have the link for you guys for that main page, and you can then grab this or grab all of them. They're free. It gives you a little info. It doesn't really say too much down here other than you can watch them on Facebook and that they're available for a limited time, although this came out a while back, so 2023. So this is the design we're looking for. We're going to add to cart. And then you can just go check out. If I click on checkout, it's going to show my information. Yeah, when I click checkout, it goes and shows all like whatever. So if you've ever used Shopify, I think is the app. it'll kind of link to that account because it already knows you, you know, kind of thing. You don't have to create an account. That's all I'm trying to say. You can log out as guest or log out, check out as guest, and you know, you're going to put your email in because you need it delivered, right? They're going to deliver you the free thing. So since you don't have an account, if you don't create an account, they're going to email you the link to the project, and then you're going to download from there. Okay, so I'm going to go to my email now and see what that kind of looks like. But just like anytime you shop, again, you're going to go check out. It's going to say $0. It's going to ask you if you want to make an account. You can make an account, then the file will probably be there. I did not make an account, so they emailed me the file link, right? So I can download it there. So let me see what that looks like, and if I can show you any of that, I will. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, guys. Well, there is the email. It's a confirmation, and then there's another one that's the download itself. Download your files. It says to download them here. Software installation, I don't know if you need any of those things. I am working on a Mac. That company, Dime, does not have Mac apps or a way to use them unless you have personally some kind of Mac translator. I don't even know what they're talking about. So anyway, let's see what this looks like. Clicking on that. Oh, my pop-up was blocked. It's okay. Just let me do it. Yep, designs machine embroidery, field towel topper, free embroidery tool shed. It says towel topper embroidery files. This is what I want. This tool shed thing you can download free. So if you need that, if I need that to open it, I will do that. But for right now, I'm just trying to get you guys a free thing that we can use. So let me open this and see what that says. Yes. Okay, so it went up into my downloads. So I'm going to go ahead and download that like anything. Download it the way your computer does it. I have still up here the bunny from yesterday, so I'm going to say towel topper, and I already downloaded it, so here's all the info. Well, that's great. Okay, so I don't know if we need to download their other embroidery app thing. I'm not going to do it for the Mac because it doesn't make sense, but they do have a free thing called the tool shed, and apparently you can do some stuff in there, and it's free. I don't know, so you guys can check that out. But let's see what all is included here. There's a little image, okay, and some info. This is the instruction, which is great. So this is going to be very simple, guys. And what I like about this also is that you don't have to keep the kitchen towel on there. It's just something you can just push in there. This is basically a way to hold it, which is interesting because I do have bars just like this on my everything. And so this will help me do that. I was like, why did I get even my cabinet drawer, like pulls and everything, they're done in a way that you can't stick anything on it, like a little knob where you can hang something. Nope. I don't know why I did that, but that's okay. So they're telling you here all the different things you're going to need. So we can look this over. Of course, I'll have this. I'll read it over. It does say on an embroidery machine, hoops sew any shape, foam. Well, anyway, they're telling you to use their products, obviously, in a 5x7 hoop, so that's good. So this project isn't too big. I'm going to use the larger hoop, obviously. They're telling you all these different things. They are asking you to cut this shape, I believe. Let me see if I can find that here. So that's up to you. Or again, what they're saying is to go ahead and let the machine do the lines for you, and then you're going to cut it out. So there's different ways of doing this. We'll talk about that in just a moment. I do like that idea, though. And then you're going to have all the information here. It's telling you everything you need. So I was going to print this out, but I think I'm just going to watch it on this. I don't really want to print it out with full color instruction. But anyway, there's your instruction. They're showing you what you need for their thread package, towel topper, Facebook, and Instagram. It's just some more information. This one is just like, hey, check us out on Instagram. Towel topper cut files. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can print this, right? And you can cut it here. You can do what it's telling you over there. Cut 1 of sew any shape foam. Cut 2 of fabric. You know how it just showed you that you can use the stitch lines and then cut it from there. So you're letting the machine basically do this for you. You can print this and trace it and then cut out your pieces. They give you the SVG cut file. You can put your fabric or your foam, whatever that you're using, into your Cricut and things. Oh, it's going to act weird because obviously, whatever. I don't like that. Anyway, it went online because it's going to try to use it that way. let me get back to the file. Okay, sorry about that. I'm just trying to find this. I wish that was loud enough. Okay, so those are the cut files, and then it says towel topper over here, and this is the actual files. You do have your XXX, which again is for our machine, the Singer, and you know, it downloaded in all the different formats. So PES, you know, EXP, PCS, they're all here. So we need XXX, and that'll be fine. I do like the way it's telling you to do the foam. I'm going to use, now I don't know what their foam is. We'll talk about that in just a moment because we're going to go and look and see what we need, but I just needed to have all this. Now that this is here, I will say, I need to put in my USB. I'm going to use my Singer one because I have it. Like I said, my friend Maya let us know that you can actually use any 2.0 USB, which is great. But I'm going to just grab this whole thing and transfer it. I know I can transfer just the XXX ones, but I don't want to skip over anything, so I'm just going to take this whole thing and transfer it to my USB. Like I showed you, all you do is grab it, or you can, you know, on this, I can right-click and copy, and then paste it into the USB. Either way, drag these files. You don't need this whole thing, but if you want to do the whole thing, I guess you can. Okay, but you just need this. This is the actual files for the embroidery machine. Okay, so I'll meet you at the machine. Okay, guys. So now I do have my file on this, but again, you know, you can put it on any thumb drive basically, which is really great. That also means you can back this one up and make sure. I'm just gonna put this away. Once I start using another USB, I'm gonna put this away because to replace this little guy, they want $99 with Singer, and I assume what they're charging you for is, you know, a couple bucks for this thing, but it's the designs that are on here. But honestly, the designs aren't really anything to write home about. They're fine, but they're not like the cutest things, at least in my opinion. There are much more contemporary designs, right? And just like anything else, scrapbooking or whatever, you buy papers and then later you're like, it's okay, but it was not what you like now, right? But anyway, so I'm gonna take this guy, I'm gonna go ahead and pop it in. I've never really put this in here when the machine is on, but I suppose you can do that. The word Singer needs to be facing you. Make sure it's really in there, and then let's go ahead and turn this guy on. Actually, let me remove these things. And I just want to show you that the files are on there. Some other things you want to take into account is that this is going to have a little bit of quilting, and that means the back is going to be showing, right? Because it's just on its own project. So we're probably going to change out the bobbin thread, not with embroidery bobbin thread, but for something else. But for right now, I'm going to leave it because I don't care about that part yet. That's good. The right foot is on, or foot is up. It's asking, it says up. See that? Okay. And you know, it does this little registration kind of whatever it's doing there. Okay, very good. Designs is what we're looking for. And it's going to be in here. And I'm going to close up for you guys just a little bit. There's some prep work we're going to be doing. I have a snack back there with my tea. Let's see. What is it? I didn't rename it, so system volume towel topper. I don't know what that is. But anyway, towel topper is the one we're looking for. We'll say okay, and it should only pull up the XXX file, which it looks like it did, but there are two different things on here. If you recall, it might even have picked up the DST file or whatever it is, the other one. The Singer reads in two different ways. I've just been doing XXX. So it might have them both here. If I choose like this one, I'm gonna choose, if it works, I'm gonna choose the top one too, just in case there's a slight difference in the way it's being read, right? So I chose the top one. Cool. If, you know, for when I do this next part, I'll choose that one. There are two parts to this, in a way. So let's talk about that. Let's go to our station over here so I can get things hooped up, and we'll talk a little bit about that, okay? So I'll be right back. So we already downloaded, this is on my computer. This is a Mac. I downloaded a Mac. I have to use an adapter because Mac doesn't have literally any way to interact with it other than USB-C, which is really annoying, but it's okay. At least the newer Macs, okay, before there were other ports. But now you have to buy something special. Just a little more money on top of what you paid for a Mac, right? But anyway, I have this open, and it's a really nice file. This is the instruction, right? So I just have it here, and it's telling me the colors I need. I'm going to choose colors of my own because what I did is I grabbed, okay, there. Just a few. You only need a 12-inch square of fabric, and then you need some batting or the foam like they're using, right? So I have these little cuties from like Hobby Lobby I picked up recently. I think this one's good for Miranda, so I was thinking maybe for myself, if it's for the kitchen, maybe this one. You just need a 12-inch square of fabric, whatever you're using. This happens to be cotton. A fat quarter will do it. That's what this is. And so I am going to cut that down. What they're saying about a 12-inch square is that you're just going to cut it right in half. So it's going to be, you're going to front and a back, right, for this project, for our towel topper. And then you need that middle batting stuff, for the foam stuff. I do like their suggestion of putting the foam on here, and that's the file I just showed you. It said foam topper or whatever I might have said. It's going to do the stitch line for you, and then you unhoop it, and then you just cut on that line. So that's already cut. And then you can use your SVG file. You can print this out like I talked about in the computer portion of this. So this is basically what printed out. It says cut 1 of sew any shape foam, and then cut 2 of fabric. It says 1 in mirror image, which I think is weird because it's basically symmetrical, is it not? I feel like it is. But we're gonna get around that a different way because I'm just gonna cut both pieces at once, and we'll do that in just a moment for the fabric. But right now we're gonna focus on this stuff. So I'm gonna grab my quilt batting and a hoop, and I'm gonna use some basting spray. We'll talk about the stabilizer in just a moment. I have some ideas on that, but I'll be right back. So first thing we're gonna get is our quilt batting, and that's it. Okay, I'll be right back. So a couple things, and please listen. I am no expert in any way. I am going to use this larger one because the smaller one, obviously the smaller hoop it comes with, is going to be too small. This means that we have to fill this whole thing up with batting so it holds it tight. I mean, maybe you can go across right here and leaving an area at the top and the bottom, but I mean, you really can't be messing around with that too much. Or, again, you print this, it says to cut on the line, you're going to trace it and cut on the line. It says that it's not in the instruction as precise as if you were just to go ahead and put this in with, you know, let the stitch guide show you where the batting should be and then cut it. So I'm going to do this one, and then I'm going to also use this for cutting it. But first I'm going to get the embroidery machine to show me what I need to cut on the foam, which is kind of a bummer because, like I said, you are going to waste some. Obviously we're going to trim that away and just throw it out, or just keep, you know, I don't know. I don't know how frugal or thrifty or was conservative with your materials as, you know, I don't know. But basically I need to cut a piece of this. This is just 80/20 quilt batting, and that's what I got because that's what I used to always use back in the day. I do like a really thick one too. That's really cute, but it's very 80s, I feel like. This thinner quilt batting is what we normally use, 80/20 as far as the polyester. That's the mix. Like I said, this is a thinner one. They have thicker battings, you know, whatever it is you want. It's a low loft on this one, 3/16 up to 3/16. I suppose you can do something thicker, but you are going to want something thinner. I'm not going to lie, because of this project. You don't want your batting to be this thick, and then the machine is going to have a hard time tacking that down for you. So I'm just going to off camera here. This is the kind of thing, they have craft sizes where it's smaller. I got enough for a queen size bed because it's cheap. It was 50% off, you know, when it was on sale the other day. I'm just going to find the beginning of this thing and cut a piece that's going to fit in my hoop, okay, with a little bit extra. And so I just cut a piece that looks like it's big enough to go in here. We're not doing anything special, we're just going to put this on here. Now, there are other ways to do this. What I'm trying to explain is this is one way. You can definitely cut your fabric. You could imagine, let me open this up, hold on. You know, you're supposed to have a 12-inch square. This is a fat quarter, so it's a little different sizing, but it's plenty. What I'm trying to say is you have more here than you need. You can put a piece of the fabric on the front, put a piece of fabric on the back, you know, facing the right way, because obviously this is the nice side. You want the nice side of your fabric facing out. You maybe put a little basting spray, stick those together, and maybe cut them all at one time, right? So there's different ways to do this. I'm just doing it this way today. Again, whatever you prefer, and as you learn your machine and your techniques and stuff, you know, get it going. So that's very loose. I'm going to tighten it a little bit. Now this stuff is not the best. Like I said, it's kind of a cheaper alternative. They do have different kinds of quilt battings, you know, that are cotton and that are really nice, but at the same time with those, I'm going to clip this. It's still pretty loose. I'm going to try to tighten that up. I'm going to open this again. It's not necessary. Those are more expensive, and this is just a little towel thing. It's not like I'm actually going to snuggle up with it, you know. So just get this not too tight. You don't want to pull it so much that you're like destroying this stuff. Okay, I'm gonna tighten that. I'm gonna tighten this a little bit. So I just closed that part, tighten this up, and we're gonna go to the machine. I'm gonna load it with just some white thread. It doesn't really matter. You're gonna cut it. Actually, I'll load it with the green thread just so you can see the line better. And I'm not going to use my good polyester threads or rayon threads, should I say, for this. I'm just going to use some cotton threads. So I've already threaded this with a green thread that I had just in my stashes, regular old thread. I'm not like yet using my good stuff. And I'm so sorry, I meant to mention at the top of the video again that my friend Maya here has picked up this machine, and she has been trying things out and watching the videos, and she let me know that you can use a regular USB 2.0 to bring your designs in, which that's how it is on a Brother machine, so I didn't think this would be any different, but they were so like, use the, USB, and I'm like, okay. So I figured you had to use their USB, but like I said, there's nothing on that USB that's particular to this machine, in my opinion. There's nothing that's running it, really. So anyway, okay. I have not put my hoop on, so I guess we'll do that now. Again, this stuff's pretty thin. I still have just embroidery bobbin in here only because I don't care to switch it out quite yet. But I guess I could switch it out already to whatever I'm going to use for my project. But I'm just going to pop this in here and check my laundry because it's beeping. Okay, sorry about that. I guess this is all in here. I mean, we can put the foot down. It might ask us to pick the foot back up, but it's already ready to go. Let's go ahead and put the foot up. Let's leave the foot up. I chose the top one if it lets me choose it. See, it says broken file. I don't know why it does that. Even the designs by JuJu, the free one, had two. So I'm going to choose the bottom one this time, and that one should work. There it goes. Okay. I don't know. And it's going to stitch this out for me, right? So I'm just going to let it do that. I do hold my thread. If you don't like doing that, that's fine. Put the foot down, press play. Oh, okay. Thank you, machine. It's asking me about my hoop. Let's make sure it is the 260 by 150 is what I did. So let's check this, and let's go back here and let's change it out. I don't have a 180 by 130 hoop, so let's change that out. I mean, I don't have a 261. I have it on 180 by 130. It should let me do it. Oh, please let me do it. It's going to tell me, yes, that's the size I have. It keeps rolling around there. Okay, fine. I probably should have picked the foot up. Okay, yes. Why is it acting like it doesn't know that I have it in there? Let's just take it out and pop this back in. I was kind of afraid of this, guys. Oh no. Let me play with this a little bit and see what I have to do to fix this, because it may not let me do it, this design, with that size hoop. I'll be right back. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is, again, this part was user error. I think I've been putting that, it's the 180 hoop. This is 260 by 150. It's the bigger guy, big guy, not even the little guy. So I'm going to remove this and just start again. I could always pretend like I just was right to begin with, but you know what? That's okay. So let's turn this on. And I'm going to make sure this is nice and flat. I feel like this is up a little bit. Okay, so it tells you to remove the hoop, of course. You know, this guy's in there. Whenever I turn this off and I have this in here, I always go to the home screen. Like, I always start from here. I don't know if it'll corrupt it anyway, or I'm just very careful. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to say, okay, we're going to go to towel topper, and we already know from before that the first one didn't work for us. So I'm going to do the towel top foam, right? The second one, because that one works. This thing's moving around. I'm going to go in here. There's no hoop on there, so it's preset to 180 by 130, but I'm going to change that. So I clicked on that. I'm going to click on this hoop. I'm going to go 260, 150. That's what's in here. Hello. That's why it was acting kind of funny, I guess. So now we have 260 by 150. I'm going to actually load that. And let's see, hopefully, with any luck, that'll be fine. So I'm going to put the foot down. My thread is pretty long. I'm not going to hold it right now. I'm just going to say to play, and let's see what happens. Yay! Yeah, that was me fighting with this thing. Oh, again, if it's telling you no for some reason, just make sure your frame hoop is the same. What you have here is what's listed there. And it's not just for sizing, that's for it to actually know how it needs to move something around, right? So that's really important. You can cut that. I probably could have cut it closer, but Press play again, and it's going to give me my outline basically for this foam. There are different ways to make this work, to make this happen for you. So do whatever you feel most comfortable with. And the reason I'm saying that, oh, I don't like the way that. Hold that piece really ugly. Because again, you can just fuse this all together and do it at one time, right? I'm just showing you some different ways. And that might be trickier also. Ooh, this stuff is really soft. If you find the material that's like this and it's gaping and being weird, you can always put some stabilizer, like the little plastic stabilizer, and just rip it off when you're done. But for this, it's not that important. All we're doing right now is cutting the shape that we need. Why would it tack down right there? I don't know. That's silly. Okay, so we're done with that. Oopsie, sorry. Make sure to punch your machine. Okay, let's go back to our work surface because we're just gonna cut this out. Can you see those lines? I'll be right back. Okay, so we can just unhoop this. I'm still gonna use this same hoop later. And in the meantime, when I come back, I'm also going to go ahead and iron this a little bit because I don't want any of those lines on there. And then I'm going to cut a 12-inch square. I'm just going to cut it off sight, guys. If you have quilting stuff, you can do that. Cut it with scissors. Just cut a piece that you know is going to be long enough to cover this because you already have your template, right? So that part isn't that picky. But what it's telling you in the instruction here is to cut right on the lines. Okay, so on the sewing line, like on the stitches. Okay, so obviously those stitches are going to pop off and that's fine. So I'm just going to go around and cut this out. Okay, right on the stitching lines. This little center piece, same thing. I'm going to straighten this out though because it seemed like something happened here. You know, obviously you want to use sharper scissors. These are pretty basic, but you can just get in there and just snip, and again cut right on the line, on the stitches. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, so I got that cut out. It's a little funky, and you know this stuff's gonna stretch, so we can get it to where we need it to be, but it looks like this. You are also gonna need a button to finish this project, I guess I should say, but all that stuff is in the instruction. I have the instruction pulled up right now, and what they're saying for the paper, if you're not gonna use the SVG file or however, is to just get this guy. I'm going to cut this down a little bit, to be honest, because I don't need this big old huge paper. I wanted to see if it says to cut on the line or not, because I know with this other one they tell you, like, cut on the line. Yeah, you're basically cutting on the line. I just want to make sure, because those kinds of things are very important. Fuse the 3 sections together, sandwiching foam between the 2 pieces of fabric. Okay, well, I don't have the fuse kind of stuff. Actually, I do. I have Patchmaker fuse stuff, and I don't want to waste it on this, so I'm going to stick them together with basting spray, but again, you're going to have an easier time if you're really fusing them really nicely. But I do have a 12-inch square of fabric here that I ironed. I just cut it by eye, guys. I just, you know, and basically you just need enough to cover this. Like, even the 12-inch square that they're saying is too much. Like, I could have just conserved that a little bit. I do not like wasting, and that really honestly made it waste that, but that's okay. So I'm going to trim this piece away because I know I don't need this much. And I don't know if you saw what I did, but I just folded it in half because essentially you're going to have one that's right on this side and then the other one that's facing on the other side the right way too, right? Now, I can put some basting spray in between those 2 layers right now. I can put it on this paper if I want, but I don't want to do that much. I'm going to do what they said is just pin this to your project and then cut on the line. So however you think you should pin it, don't poke yourself like I just did. I'm just going to pin it as close as I can to some of the edges, and I'll be back, okay? So I'm going to put several pins. Just pinning the paper all the way through. I know this is hard for me to show you here, but basically we're just going to cut right on the line. And I'm cutting through both on the line is what they said. So all those little things are important because the applique stitch, or the stitch that they're going to do at the end, the satin stitch, you really want it to hit exactly where you need it to hit. So I'm going through, I'm cutting through both layers. I'll come back and show you this middle part. Well, that took less than 2 minutes because my camera shuts off after 2 minutes and it's already done. You can also use a rotary cutter. I mean, if you're really good, you just, I mean, it'll be great. But with this guy, you can also just cut this out, trace it, and then cut it, whatever it is you want to do. But I'm going to poke through with some really sharp scissors, if I can, through the paper, through my fabric, and then just start going on that line, okay? And I'm just going to follow that around. Okay, I'm always kind of holding everything, just, you know, holding it up because it can still separate a little bit the way I'm doing it. So, okay, I'll be back. I can imagine if you're using a Cricut or your brother's Scan and Cut or whatever, it's gonna be perfect. But we're doing this a little old school because I don't know what all y'all have, and I don't want to involve my Cricut, to be honest. That's a whole other thing, right? Getting the fabric on there and getting it to cut and all that. So, I mean, you can use this over or reuse that, I suppose. So now we have these pieces, and essentially that little quilt batting goes in between these guys. We're not sticking these together with pins or anything like that because, you know, we have lots of embroidery to do. But what I'm going to do is quickly, I'm going to spray both of these sides outside in the box with some basting spray. And you guys know I've been loving my basting spray. And that's how I'm going to hold them together, okay? So I'm going to spray both of these. I'm going to place this in the center in just a moment. Okay. Put some basting spray on those. That's why they're sticking to my fingers. And I'm just going to put this in here. I'm going to do it carefully though because of that stickiness. I don't want all of that. Putting that there. Again, I feel like this stitched up a little differently because it's kind of stretchy stuff, so I'm shaping it to where it needs to be. Okay? So give it the shape it needs, and if I need to remove any, I will. That's pretty good. I'm gonna put the top one on, and then if I need to trim any of that foam, the quilting stuff away, I will do that. That's good right there. Okay, so that's pretty much stuck together, but I can see that there's some of this, so I'm just going to take this little guy and just go around and trim some of these. I don't think it's the cut file. I think it's, I hope not. I hope it didn't resize or do something weird when I went to print it, right? It's just this stuff stretched when it was in the machine. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, so I have that ready. I should just take all these pieces away from here. Just make sure it was pretty even all everywhere. Okay. We need to attach something to our hoop that's going to hold that. Okay, so if you like wash and weigh kind of stabilizers, that's basically what you're going to want to use because you don't really want it sitting back there. I am going to use this Super Solvy. It's nice and thick. Again, with this bigger hoop, we have to fill up the whole hoop. So don't feel like you want to be chintzy on this one. You don't want it to let go anywhere or do something crazy. So I'm going to cut this. And I watch these people making like patches because that's what I'm into right now. And I'm like, because they waste so much fabric. They'll put like a little patch in the center of this and then all this tweed or twill or whatever gets thrown away. So I know it hurts me too, okay? But with this one, you really do need to have quite a bit. And then also at the end, you know, if there's a good section, you can reuse it for like a smaller hoop possibly, right? So I'm just gonna hoop this up. Stuff is super thick, it's really nice. You can use one that's more like the fabric type, whatever it is that you like to use. I really had to screw this a lot, tighten it a lot because before I was putting in really heavy stuff. So I'm just going to take a moment to do that. It's going to take a moment to tighten this up. I think that's pretty tight. That's pretty good. We are going to tighten this so that it does give it an extra squish. Oh my goodness. I'm always afraid of this. I'm going to bring it close to my body. Sorry guys. Gotta get some strength in there. Oh, I'm going to break this thing. Nope, don't want that. Undo it just a little bit. And to get that. My goodness, I'm actually undoing it quite a bit. Yeah, I don't know if I'm a fan of this quick release thing. It works when you're releasing it. It should probably be loose to start with. It should put you locked in, should I say. Okay, I'm having to redo all this. There we go. Let's lock it in and then do that. Otherwise, you might have a problem with this. So I've changed my mind. Well, I do it different every time. Go ahead and make sure this is closed before you start tightening. That way you're not giving that pressure because that, I don't know, it can take it. It's just plastic, that little handle. All right, okay. I think that's pretty good. And tighten it again. Let's go to the machine. Okay, so we already finished that project. There's no resizing. We didn't do anything funny. I haven't put my hoop on. I haven't even put my thread in yet. So actually this thread would work, but it's cotton and I like, you know, polyester threads. So it might work for the tack down and stuff like that if I don't want to switch it out quite yet. We can definitely do that. But let's go home and then pick that again. We're going to pick our USB again, and it's already there where I had it. We want the actual towel topper. So there you go. Say yes. It knows what's up. I'm gonna put my hoop in just a moment because I don't, well, I was just thinking about switching out the bobbin right now or not. So there's a couple different things, okay? Let me bring the computer so we can talk about it. So if you read the instructions, it's telling you to use whatever color, wind a bobbin of Caribbean blue and set it aside. That's because they're using that here. I'll probably grab a red, okay, so it'll be nice and bright. So I'm gonna grab some red and do that. We do need a bobbin of that same because you're gonna be quilting and all that. It's interesting. Okay, so anyway, stitch color 1, the placement guide. So it's gonna just stitch a placement guide. You're gonna then put your little project that what we just put together on that placement guide. Stitch color 2, the tack down. That's just tacking it down, like holding your pieces together. Stitch color 3, the quilting, and then insert the Caribbean blue bobbin, right? So right now, essentially you can leave white if you want in the background because it's going to be on the back of your project. You can switch it out to, like here they used yellow for the quilting. You can do that. Whatever it is that you want to do. So I think what I'm going to do is just leave what I have in here right now, to be honest. I have some thread and the same embroidery bobbin from before. It is telling you to go ahead and wind your bobbin, but you can wind bobbin at any point. So I'm just going to leave it for right now to not have to do so many switches. I don't really care. Most of the stuff is going to get covered up anyway. Let's see here. Hold on. I want to pull more of this. It's really tight for some reason, so let me see why that is. If the foot's up, it should just release. That's interesting. Huh, okay. Well, I just had this little piece. There we go. Something was up. Let's go ahead and place this guy back in. All the information should still be there from before as far as what hoop is in here. I know it's not saying anything right now. I don't know if you see that. So hopefully that's not going to be an issue, but if you're always curious, you can go and check the hoop. It's 180 by 130. We don't want that. We want the bigger one, so it's a good thing we checked. So let's go to the hoop. I'm going to do 260 by 150, right? That's the one we want. And it's doing some stuff to accommodate for that. Perfect. Okay. So all we're doing right now is saying go because it's going to do the placement stitch right on this stuff, okay? So let's just hit play. Cut the thread. I don't think so. That's weird. Oh, cut the thread in. That's right. Okay, well, we don't care about that. Sorry, whenever it's something like this, I'm always like, what are they telling me? And I hope this thing does not fall off of this plastic because I've never really done a lot of this. And I do know that there's some funny things on this thing. Like that. It's stitched kind of weird. It only did part of the handle and now it's doing the outline. Again, this is a free file. I don't know if they're just like, close enough, right? So right now it's just stitching an outline, guys. So this is in the hoop kind of things. It might stitch an outline for you that you need to place a piece of fabric. I have another complicated one that I did buy, and it's not complicated. It makes like a little quilt hanging, which is really cute. And I really want to do that one with you guys, but you have to buy the file. So right now we're doing a free file. You know, I just cut that. The next thing is going to be the tack down. Oh, okay. That's so weird. It's still not done. Or is it? Is it done? Let me press play. It's still on 1 of 7. That's funny. Okay. Well, now it's finishing the handle. Yeah, this is a very basic file. Again, it was free. Are we done? Can I cut it? Are we good? Okay, so now 2 of 7, which is going to be the other portion that we need to actually place our piece. Now, we're not supposed to actually unhoop this, but if you unhoop things, I mean, what's the big deal? I don't think it's a problem. But we are going to basically take our project and get it placed on there. I am going to go take this really quickly on the back. I'm going to spray some basting spray, okay? And I'll be right back, because we're going to stick it down to this shape that this thing made for us. Some cool basting spray. I don't see why you can't remove this, but you know, a lot of times they don't recommend it or they don't say to do it. So I'm just going to take this out and place it right where that little stitching is. And you want to get it right on because that's where your project is going to be stitching. I'll show you in just a moment. Oh, no. A little stickiness you got on there a little too soon. And then we're just gonna wish for the best, guys. Okay? So I know you can't see it right now, but if I get closer, sorry guys, there's this stitch line right there, and I'm placing my project right on that, right? Now, this is gonna be the tack down. So if I wanted to, I could switch this out to my red fabric, my red, or whatever color. I'm just gonna leave what's in here, and that's just me being silly girl, but that's all right. So I'm gonna tack that down. I have not put the foot down yet because I don't know where this is gonna go, and I don't want the foot to mess with anything around here. So if I say 2, unless that's where it's gonna start. Okay, I guess that's where it's gonna start. I hope. Putting the foot down. This is so scary to me. Press play. I don't know if it's gonna get it, guys. So, I'm gonna let it do its thing. You know, the other thing we could do now is put another piece of this on top, because that'll help flatten it, right, as it's working. That's up to you. But anyway, I'm supposed to snip that thread. And let's make sure this is all good. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I guess press play. And I kind of like to hold things sometimes, just as it's going at first. This is so weird. It does a tack down somewhere else. I'm not gonna cut that thread, I don't care. Like right off the edge. Nope, not gonna work. Let's do it again. Let's just pause. Let's just pause. I am going to unhoop this, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna skip to that number 2. This is not good. This is not good at all. So let me lift this up. I am going to cut this. And I can see that this did not tack in a way that I would want it to, like, at all. Ugh. I might just redo it, guys. And I'll tell you why. Like, it's totally missing a lot of this, and it tells you in the instruction to cut right on the line, and to me, that's not cutting right on the line. That... We'll give it one more chance. I'm gonna put some more of the that smoother stuff on top. I'll be right back. I'm gonna restart this, and I don't know if there's a way to go back. I'm assuming here. Should we do it? Okay, that's back to number 1. I want to go back to number 2. Restart it. Perfect. Okay, I have this stuff. I'm gonna spray this with some basting spray. Just another piece that's going to cover this guy up and keep it flat, hopefully. Okay. And don't be afraid to unhoop it. This thing knows where it's going. Like, if I take this off and flatten it out, that's fine. I'm just going to work with it while it's on here. But I'm going to place this in here. I already put my thread back again. And, oops, see, I'm just going to get this underneath the presser. And I'm going to try to flatten that out as much as I can. Part of the problem is that the foam, or you know, your stuff in the center, is popping it up, and that's not great. But now I can have a little more control. So let's try it again and see if we get better luck. I'm just gonna leave it there, guys, throughout this whole thing. Okay, so unless it messes it up, and maybe I'll remove it later once we do more tack downs. But we are repeating number 2. You saw all I did was do it again. I'm gonna press play. Okay. It says to cut the thread in, which of course I've been doing, so I'm a good girl. What happens is later that gets caught up in your project possibly, so you don't want to keep that. So I'm gonna press play and let this machine do its thing. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I can see that that's much better. It's actually touching the fabric. I don't know why it does half a handle and then goes out here. So that's what it's been doing. Okay. You know what? I'm not going to cut it because that one's actually attached to the other end anyway, so just press play. And I can keep my hand here ahead of it very gently just to help us. Now I can see that it's actually hitting the fabric, so that's good. Yes, okay, that's much better. And actually just keeping this here helps out in a lot of different ways. So I just want to show you, like now it's actually hitting the fabric. Maybe you can't see that. But before it was right off the edge because the fabric was puffed up with that quilt batting. Again, you know, I did get comments recently about why don't I let the experts do this and that kind of thing. Please go watch a Singer video and see what information you get from that. Because honestly, it's not a lot of information. I'm gonna keep pressing play until it tells me it's 3 of 7. They, you know, everything's perfect in their world and then it glosses over things. So, you know, I'm just doing what I do, guys. And if it helps somebody, that's great. If you guys, you know, prefer to watch somebody else, please do that. That's okay. So now we're doing 3 of 7. 3 of 7 is actual stitching, like a little quilting stitch, right? So let's check that out on our thing. What's funny is I don't know if they really outline it that way over here because they're like, oh yeah, this and this, and it might mess up. Oh, Disney destinations, yes. Let me read it. This might be, you know, unorthodox, but it does say it's actually, it doesn't give you step numbers. It just says, you know, to stitch number 3, which is the quilting. And I think that lime green will be cute. So I'm just going to say go for it with that same color. But if you guys remember it, cut it off. I'm assuming it'll pick it right up, but I don't know that. And I'm afraid to just start and have this thing slide out. So I am going to pull that out because remember it cut it from the last stitching we just did. I'm going to pick up my foot. Give myself a little tail. I'm sure it would be fine, but just in case it's not. And then put it back in the little hoop, which I have been doing. I can see a lot of people that don't. Let's try it without. Let's try not putting it back in the little hole. Okay, I'm gonna put that down and I'm gonna say, sure, just press play. Okay. No, that's fine. Okay. I'm gonna cut the little. Supposedly this is going to do some stitching, guys, so the quilting part of it. So let's see what happens. I press play and nothing happened, huh? I'll do it again. Okay. Well, this is cool. So this is doing another, in my opinion, tack down. But supposedly this is the quilting one, so we will see what happens. In their example, they used yellow and then they did a blue border. So I think this is just beefing up your design, hopefully, but at the same time, if I had known that, again, this is a free file and it's not telling us a lot, I would have maybe chosen a different color. But that's okay, it's cute. All right, I'm gonna let it keep going. Okay, guys, so just finished this outside, like a basic stitch for the satin to come in later, and then it jumped to this middle part and it's asking me to cut my end, which honestly I don't even see an end because it did it on its own. You know, it jumped from there to here, which is cool because that lets us know you can do that. I didn't have to like bring it out and all that kind of stuff that I've been doing. So let's just press play and let it keep going, and I'm assuming it's going to do the same kind of thing here where it's bulking up. Basically it's bulking up for your satin stitch. And again, had I known that, I'm assuming the same one's going to also do the stitching. But I don't know. It said your third color should do the quilting. So I don't know. It just stopped and it's telling me number 4. And I have a feeling number 4 is the quilting. What is up with these instructions? Let me look at this. Because the last thing you're going to do is the satin. I'll be right back, guys. Since everything's not clear on this, and especially here, it says 1 is this, 2 is that, 3 is butter, 4 is the Caribbean. That's what it should be on now, but it didn't do the quilting. So I'm going to leave that green in there, and I don't care. I think we're just going to use green the whole time. Why not? Again, I'm not going to mess with this. Let's see if it doesn't lose its stitch. I'm just going to press play, and this is going to be number 4, and we'll see what number 4 does. The tail was really short from before, so I'm not going to cut that. It's doing another stitching all around. I don't feel like it did the quilting, guys. All right, we're just going with it. It was a free design. What are you gonna do? Say, as we're talking design, I do have this position the right way, like the little gnome faces are facing up this way, because this is gonna go behind with a little button. This is gonna make a buttonhole for us, and I know it says the last few things, it says stitch number 4 was supposed to be the buttonhole and this place, but I mean, it's doing a whole outline. Something is up. Something is up. It just skipped the whole area and just went to the next spot. Interesting. Weird. It did stitch, it just didn't stitch the way it's stitching here. Anyway, when you purchase the design, generally they're really good. I've never tried one of this company's designs, so you would think that they would make it easy, and maybe it's just not completely explained because they did a Facebook Live for it or something, you know, because they do this on Facebook and then they give you a free file to like follow along. So, I mean, that's possible. Again, I'm not gonna get rid of this. It's gonna probably do something here, yeah. It's gonna ask me to cut it, but I don't care about that because it's already very short. And this is still number 4 of 7. Ooh, don't touch it, just in case. But I'll come back to you if it starts quilting. Either way, I'll come back to you guys. You know how that is. But Designs by JuJu, I have their things, and they have never steered me wrong, so I don't know. Okay, just finished that. Now it's telling me to load in color 5. So we still have 5, 6, 7 to do. Maybe this is the quilting? I don't know, but let's just go for it. Let's press play. Yay! I think we're quilting now. I don't really have a thread end to cut, so I'm just going to press play again. Yes! Okay, this is the quilted design. Okay. So, now we know. 1 was the placement, obviously. Or the... Sorry. Yeah, the placement line. 2 was the tack down. 3, in my opinion, was another tack down. It's just doing it very gently. So maybe, you know, if it's especially on the outsides and you're going to use like a red color or a green or a blue, whatever, use that then. And then number 5 is the stitching. So that's all we need to know for this one. I'll leave a note for myself that number 5 is the stitching. The quilting, should I say, sorry. Look at how cute the little quilt line was making. So these last 2, 6 and 7, I guess, are the satin stitching and the buttonhole. I don't know. I hope so. Cute. Close for you guys to see that, but that stitching is so cute. Okay, now I said I can just continue on, but this is the thing. This is going to be 1 and 2-sided, right? So I do want this green in my bobbin. So it shouldn't be a problem to wind your thread now. Now, having said that, maybe it is. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm going to lift up the foot. I'm going to remove this because either way you have to switch out your bobbin. So you have to remove this to get to the bobbin. I do have a green loaded on a bobbin already, but it's not the same color green. So that's another thing to think about. I'm going to see if I can do this without this glitching out because I don't know how, I'm sorry, hit that. I don't know how fancy this machine is, but I'm willing to try it. I'll be right back. I need to wind this bobbin, so I'm going to do what I need to do to wind the bobbin. So we'll see. It goes in here, it goes through here, it goes in this guy, around here. We've already done a whole video on this. And let me see what it does when I actually get this on. So let me get this threaded up like I'm supposed to, and I'll be right back. It's gonna work. You're supposed to engage this thing, right? Oh, it worked. Okay, let's press play. And I don't need all this bobbin wound with green. I'll probably do a good amount, but I'm not going to fill up the whole thing. So, you think that's good? Maybe we should do a little more. I don't know. I don't want to run out. I do know that. I think that's probably good enough. There's like half a bobbin. I don't know. It's going to do some satin stitching, and it's going to be pretty intensive. So maybe let's not tempt fate here. Okay, that's probably good enough. Okay, so I'm gonna click that back, and we're still on our thing. Very good. Okay, awesome. So again, there's a little cutter here. I can cut this. I'm just gonna put this in my bobbin. I could have done this before. You know, it didn't tell you to do this with the instruction, but like the back of this is gonna have white quilting thread, which is fine. I mean, it looks nice, but if you want it to be, you know, to be green, you could have switched this out already, right? So just kind of keep those things in mind with this particular design. I'm telling you, Designs by JuJu, I was looking over some of the hoops designs I bought, and they are like 20 pages of instruction, so they will walk you through. Okay, let me rethread this guy, and we'll continue on. Place this back on, and you know, this is regular cotton and thread. I thought in this placement it'd be okay. I will say there's a ton of fuzz all over from the thread because it's cotton thread, so something to think about. Okay, I'm gonna put this back on here, and I guess we'll put our foot down And I'm still sticking with the green. Actually, I didn't pull up the bobbin. Okay, I'm too chicken to not do it. I'm too chicken, guys. I'm sure it'll be fine, but I need to pick up my bobbin. So I'm just going to hold that. My foot is still up. I'm going to come forward. I'm holding the tail end, and now I've brought up my bobbin thread. Okay, because I am too chicken not to. I'm sure it's fine because this thing does cut the bobbin thread, right, when it self-cuts. But why mess with things, you know? All right, there it goes. I have my thread out here. I'm not putting in the little hoop. There's one thing I'll do, and I'll press play. It looks like this is gonna do another quilting. No. What is going on? Well, I'm only saying that because it went in a weird angle for whatever reason. Okay, no. Well, yeah, it's quilting again. This is such a crazy file. Well, oh well, on the back I'm going to have green quilt lines and white quilt lines, but it's quilting again for some reason. Reinforcement, guys. I'll be back. I guess I could have skipped that one if you don't want that, right? But what are you going to do? Really nice. And I will say for the company, because I was like, well, maybe their designs are... This is part of the issue, I guess, with this machine, even though it's a lovely machine, it's been doing what I need. I just had to kind of work out kinks, is that this doesn't show you what it actually looks like. So if I had loaded, you know, green and it's showing me that it's going to do a quilting again, I would have been like, oh, okay, the next one's going to be the same lines. I'll just leave everything alone. But we don't see that. This doesn't preview things that way for you, and other machines do preview things that way for you. So, or if you're computer based or however, right? So I don't fault the company for that. It's just here, there's no preview of what the next thing looks like. It just shows you the whole project. Kind of weird, but that's just how this machine is. So, okay, well, like I said, I wanted to come back and, you know, just say that I don't know that that's the creator of the designs issue, right? This machine doesn't preview things that way. Stopped and started back over here. This is 7 of 7. Sorry, I'm eating a pretzel. The quilting is much nicer. It's really thick and pretty. But why didn't they just do that in that one, you know what I'm saying? Like number 5 could have done it and done it again. Like, what's the point of going to another number if it's gonna do the same thing again? I don't know. That is one question I have. So I'm not switching anything out. We already put the green bobbin thread in. We already have this one. I'm not gonna switch out to red because I think it's gonna be crazy. So let's just go. It's gonna ask me to fix, you know, the end of my stitch there. There really isn't one, so the end of the thread, sorry. So this should be the satin stitch and the buttonhole. So we haven't even talked about buttonhole yet. It's gonna have a little buttonhole over here, I guess, and it hasn't done that quite yet. So right now it's just going around. I'll come back when it does something different. Starting a satin stitch down this edge here. It really bulked up that satin stitch, you know? All those ground work stitches that it did. I will say they were really fat at the beginning and now it's getting a little tighter, so I don't know what that's about, but that's okay. I'm gonna let it keep going. You hear the plastic from the this stuff. It's just a really tight stitch that looks so pretty, and then it's really already wanting to cut away from this. You can see that? We don't want it to do that. We want it to hold. But it did a lot of foundation stitches, and now that it's doing the satin, it's just really bulked up because of the way they did so many foundation stitches. Just keep in mind which colors came when, and you know, that'll help you out with your project. But so far so good. Again, this is a cotton thread. Obviously polyester rayon, those kind of nice things. Viscose are going to be smoother and shinier and maybe even help the embroidery better. I will say I did buy embroidery needles. They are not in yet, so this is just the needle that came with the machine, which is just your basic needle, so that also can affect your final result. So just things to think about. You know, you might think, like, why didn't she just do what the lady said with the fusible bond and all these things? Because, like, I don't have any here. So I'm using what I have, and then if I'm interested, I'll pick some up and that'll make my projects easier later. Cool. If you have that, you know, use it, please. Again, a lot of times with sewing, things need to be very exact, or If you watch a lot of sewing channels, they are very much like, you have to have this product, you have to do it this way, and that's great, but there are other ways to do it, especially if you're starting out, that will still give you a nice result. So I'm gonna keep letting this thing stitch and I'll be back. Goodness, you guys, right now I'm like on a hope and a prayer that it doesn't just come away, right? Again, different types of stabilizers. There are some that are more like fabric that still are wash away. They're called like wash away or washing away or something like that. I did use the plastic one because that's what I have. It's doing a great job, but I do have 2 layers of it right now, right? So it might be another reason why it's actually holding on and not completely falling out. So something to think about. Guys, I'm running out of thread up here. So I don't have another one of that same color, but I have something similar. I don't know, man. I don't know. If you know, it's funny. If I can finish this part here, right here, I can do the handle and the buttonhole differently. But if it's not one thing, it's another. My goodness. This uses a lot of thread. Oh, fingers crossed. I don't know if we're going to make it. So funny. I was like, oh, cool. We're almost there. And I still have enough. But it did, for some reason, a line going this way. I'm like, no, you're wasting it. So I just need this, like another 1.5 inches of satin stitch. I think we're going to get it. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to stop it there. And then I'm just going to do the, like I said, the other 2 areas with something else. Maybe a dark green. Maybe. It's coming up on finishing that area. And I think when it stops to go to the next area, I'm going to tell it no. Well, I'm not going to tell it no. I'm going to pause it. And then we'll rethread, because look how little there's left. See what happened? We were generous with our other bobbin there. If it goes around this area again, I'm just gonna like, no. Okay, let's pause. Nope, 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 pause. I'm gonna switch out the thread. And we know that we can do the bobbin and it doesn't interrupt anything, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. I'm gonna take this off. We get a dark green thread in here, and I'm gonna switch out the bobbin too, even though there's still light green bobbin thread. I just, you know, let's do it right. Okay, guys, I already loaded it up. I changed out the bobbin with the same dark green. I was like, you know what, let's not do red, because what if you see a lot of it, which you might not, but let's do green in case that little bit of green peeks out. Also, somebody had asked me, oh, if this spool has to be standing up. It does not. It can be laying down. You know, it's just, if you have a really big spool, you're going to need to stand up, but you can leave it laying down or standing up. Does not matter. Actually, I took a little cap off. Sometimes I leave the cap off. Sometimes I forget to put it on, you know, so I forget to put it on. So just to make sure it's not too tight, because that was one of my issues early on. As you can see, I haven't had any thread breakages. Hopefully that continues. So we're going to put this back down. Now, I could say to go back a stitch. I don't know that I need to, but if you want to, you can just say back 1 at least, and you'll see where it's going. And that's fine. That was basically the tack down stitch. So let's just press play. And it's gonna ask me to cut this. And press play again. And now we are cooking with gas once again. Sorry guys. It's been a journey. But look how pretty that stitch is. It looks really nice. I love the green. But see, I can see that little light green sticking out here and there. It would be nice if it goes over it twice, but I have a feeling it's not going to. So there it is. And this is actual embroidery floss, or embroidery thread, should I say, not embroidery floss. It looks really messy, but it's what it is. Alright. These things are so funny. It did this, and then it did a straight stitch all along, and it came back to the middle, and now it's going in the opposite direction. You think it would just keep going, doing the same thing, right? No. So this is all 7 of 7. I guess the satin stitch is on 7 of 7, so there you go. But like I said, it does look really messy, and I'm assuming if I had dark green underneath this, you wouldn't tell so much, but, you know, oh well. That's the very last part of that area, and it completely came off, almost, that little plastic, you know? So let's see, it should do a buttonhole now. Look at that. And this one, it hasn't worked on it all yet, so it's going to do it all right now. And then you have a string that you're going to cut, obviously. But yeah, I guess this buttonhole is just doing a basic buttonhole that any, you know, I don't know how to make those. Not that I don't know how to make them. I don't like making them, so I don't really use my machine for that. But it's just making a little opening, and then you're going to obviously cut the slit. I'll come back and tell you if for some reason it does it twice, like goes over the same area twice, but it looks like it's doing it once. It seems to be done. You guys, our first in the hoop project, and I don't know why, sometimes the machine does this, look, it tacked down over here, like why? You're gonna have to get rid of that. It's not just this machine. A lot of machines, or this design, a lot of designs do that. And I don't know if it's the Singer or if the design is made that way. So we are all done. That is it. Sorry, over here it just showed the little strawberry that said you were done. That's it. Let's go to my table and we'll finish this guy up. Oh, and I always show you guys before I go over there, I do like to just kind of shut this thing down. So I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna go into my hoop size. I'm gonna park it because supposedly before you turn it off, you should park it. And I said park, and it does something funny, and then I say okay, and then it brings it back to like home base. And that way, when you put it away, it's, I guess, tucked in a little better instead of this just kind of hanging off the, I don't know. But that's what they say to do. Okay, and then I usually go home, and then I turn it off. And that way, I don't think it's bothering the USB at all. And once I turn it off, I'll then remove the USB. Okay? Okay guys, so I have my little extra fabric here that I cut earlier. Still have a ton from a fat quarter. I mean, you can make several of this project, right? And I hope, you know, I make my videos from the point of, here it is, some things are glossed over, we still have to kind of do some figuring out, and I don't mean to do that in a way that's dissuading people. Like, obviously that's not what I would want. I hope it helps you and you can see, oh, that's right, and oh, this, or, you know, whatever it might be. So anyway, there's some strings here. I'm going to bring this down here. Again, I'm working with what I have. If I really like doing this kind of thing, you know, I'll buy a different kind of stabilizer, but this is basically some good stuff. I mean, it's not bad stuff. It's not inexpensive, all right? It is a better price on Amazon than like if you were to pick it up at Joann, and that's why I've been linking it to you guys for Amazon. In the description box, I do have quite a few just like basic things linked there. This is so cool. I mean, it feels really fun because it's still within that little plastic. Now, this is wash away plastic stabilizer. So, I mean, you can rinse it away, you can wash it, and it'll come away, right? For the most part, I still try to get rid of as much as I can. Here's that weird tack down. For whatever reason it did that, and we're gonna pull that out. And right now I've been picking, or, you know, cleaning this up. This feels so cool, you guys. I love it. This is really fun. But anyway, is there anything else I have? This one. You can obviously see little things that you might want to pick away later, and you can get rid of them. I'm wondering if I should pick at this right now. It has to be perforated enough to come off. The little plastic that's on here already. Again, you can wash it away, so maybe we should do that. But I'm probably going to pick at it so I can have a picture for you guys. But other than that, you're just going to remove it, guys. Look at this. Obviously, the top one can just tear away pretty easily. But as you're tearing it, so that's why this stuff, you can also use it for patches, you know, lots of different things. Look at that piece missing there. Again, I have this piece that maybe I can use it later for something else. But again, you want to just be generous with what you have because, again, you saw I thought I had enough, what's this called? Thread, and I ran out, right? I didn't even think about it. I do have a little piece that's kind of sticking out that I could have just trimmed better, so I'm going to trim this away, but of course you're watching the stitches. You do not want to cut your stitches. I'll probably tuck that in a little bit better later. There's some stitches that are going from here to here that we don't need, so we can cut here and we can cut it here. So just go through and clean it up. And then you have your little towel holder, guys. Of course, I may get rid of this stuff. Actually, I'll probably do that right now. I use this, and that's why it looks like this. Some people use the white stuff, and that also washes away, but I'm just trying to see if I can get under this. It is really sturdy stuff. I'm telling you, Solvay back in the day, when I had my first machine, it was really thin. So this is nice. I know it's super Solvay, but again, you can wash all that away. Okay, it doesn't have to be picked off right now, and maybe I won't because it's actually kind of difficult. So let me go and clean up a little bit more. We need to make ourselves a little buttonhole here. That might have been something I didn't need to cut away, but I think it's okay. So I'm just going to go through. Another thing people do, if you want, you can just do a little paper towel with water. This is for me. I'm not giving this away, so obviously I can just wash this. But if you want to give it to somebody, you can just kind of put a little paper towel on the edges, a little water, or you can take even, and I don't like doing this, a lighter, and just to get rid of that little plastic, it'll just kind of like move away instead of being washed away. So then we have this guy. you have a seam ripper. I don't know if that'll do it for you. They do show you with the seam ripper to go through it. This is kind of a lot of stuff. I don't know that seam ripper will do it, but let's try it. Let me go get the seam ripper that came with the machine and we'll see. I guess what I'm trying to say is I've really been enjoying this machine. Obviously we had to work it out. We had to learn a little bit of how to use it, but I've been having a lot of fun with it. I've been showing you guys things, more and more complicated things, right? But the next thing I'm gonna do is just put a name on the back of a hoodie, right? My son and his hoodies for school, I'm gonna put Luna on the back on the hood. I love doing that. It looks really cute. And that is a very easy thing to do. So that'll be the next thing I show you guys. And then I guess that's it. I mean, I do want to do an in the hoop quilt little thing. So maybe we'll do that. But, and then keeping in mind all the stuff I learned today. Because like, again, if this was all the same color, you wouldn't see these gaps, right? Kind of interesting. I don't know. But I think when you wash it too, that's going to move because it's just thread. It'll move to where it needs to be, you know? So it's possible that the little fluff that was there got it in the way. But seam ripper, let's see. You can poke it all the way through. Again, there's plastic, there's all kinds of stuff in here. There's quilt batting. I want to make sure I'm not cutting this back part or this, so I'm going to do a little bit maybe. It's doing a good job. But maybe just go little by little and just make sure you're not cutting into the seams in the front, or the thread, sorry, in the front or the back. Funny enough, you are cutting this design part of it, right? Look at that. Maybe I'll finish it with this because I don't really want to go too far and then end up cutting my threads down here. Okay, now you have your little button. Obviously you're going to clear that out. You can probably get rid of some of that fabric too. And then you need to tack a button like here. So let me see what they say about that in the file. Unless it's back here. I'm pretty sure it's up here because you need to have it enough so that you can stick it onto your handles, right? So I'll be right back. So I'm probably going to wash this off and maybe I'll do it for you guys here, but I'm not going to do it yet because I want to put the button on because otherwise it'll be soaking wet and we're not going to get anywhere. But that's what it's showing. So it's just kind of folded over. I mean, you can take it to, you know, wherever it is, whatever you need, you know, however low or high. The thing is, if it's down here, this is as much room as you're going to get, right? So just whatever you need to do for that. It doesn't really tell you where the button placement should be. And also, you know, I went to look at it. I'm like, yeah, ours isn't too far off what's going on here. It does say to put a pin here, which I forgot about that old trick. If you put a little pin right before those stitches, when you go to use your seam ripper, it's not going to go past that, right? Because the pin's in the way. So there's a tip. Yeah, so I guess just place it wherever you want. They're not really showing you a buttonhole placement. So let me not drop my laptop, that'd be great. Let me put that somewhere. So let's just finish this guy up. So I hope my videos are helping out as far as seeing kind of what it takes to do some of these things. I did keep some of the green thread. I took it off the bobbin. There was so much on the bobbin, but honestly I wasn't going to use it again because I was out of the thread anyway. So I just took it off and I reused the bobbin. And I'm just going to hand sew this part, my little button. But again, the machine does buttons for you. I have no idea how to do that and I would not do it. It's just not my thing. So, even with the kids, when I used to make them little clothes, I chose things that were like pajama pants and pajama shorts that were stretchy, you know, so there were no buttons involved. So I'm just going to get a little something on here. And the other day I did pick up a ton of buttons. Funny enough, I was going to get some that had more sizes in it. I'm like, I don't really need that many buttons because it was huge. So I got this. And the buttons aren't that big, but this one has like a holiday look to it. So I'm going to grab the larger green button. Or should we do red? I already got green thread. I keep saying, should we do red? And then I don't. Sorry. Maybe we'll just go with green since we've been doing that. But a cute red button wouldn't hurt anybody. Also, these red buttons are pretty small. That's funny. So forget that. And however it is that you sew buttons, do that. So I'm just trying to see where this might be. So if we open it up, boop, boop, it goes through here. Oh, actually that button is perfect. And it's here, and then it kind of pulls up a little bit maybe. That gives us some room, right, for to be hung somewhere, right? Oh, Design by JuJu has cute things like this where it's like either has a hole because you have like a knob, or it has like a loop because you have to loop it, or it has like a latch kind of thing. So there's different ways of getting little kitchen towel holders. I'm just trying to see where it gives me the most loopy area. Because if it was down here, it's really flat. Do you see what I'm saying? You don't have as much space. But then the space could be back here. And I guess it depends on the look you're going for. I feel like I need more loop, like here-ish. Okay, and I'm just going to eyeball that, to be honest, where the center is. Like right there. I usually try to hide the knot to begin with, so I'm just going to pick up a little bit of fabric. Obviously, we're just going through this layer, the very top layer. You can go into the foam part of it, I guess, the batting. But I'm going to cut that away later. And do you guys like doing X's with your buttons, or how do you do it? This is kind of a thing because you only want to catch that top layer. A little bit annoying. I'm going to go this way, I guess. And well, once I have it placed, I'm just going to kind of lift it out just a little bit so I can see where I'm going. And X is very cute, but I'm just going up and down if this thing doesn't move around on me too much. Again, you know, like I said, tomorrow I'll be showing you how to quickly just put a name on something, and that's always really fun. I just came out up here, right? So I need to go back down. And you go back down here. Again, tack a little bit of your fabric, and then go back through the hole again. You don't have to do projects like this if you're not into it. I just wanted to show it to you so you would have that information. Maybe a couple more. Once I've tacked it into the fabric a few times, I just kind of go around and around a couple times, catching itself basically. That's how I do it. Oopsie. But whatever you do for your buttons, I'm just doing that. I'll catch it just a little bit here and there again. And then I got to move over to the other side. Like I said, so if you can imagine, if you were doing this in your own little, I'm just going to catch some fabric just to tack it down coming this way. It would be a real pain to go around this whole thing and do a satin stitch right on the machine. The quilting, all those things, the machine did it for you, right? So just find a design you think is cute. This one, it was free. It's cute. It's useful. So I wanted you guys to have that. And, you know, it took me a little work. And that's okay. Alright, I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to keep doing what you just saw me do. In and out, catching a little bit of that fabric. And I'll be right back. How do you guys finish off your buttons? Because I know some people go around and around the back just to do a little something and then still kind of tie it off. Obviously, you have to tie it off because otherwise it just unravel. But something to think about. Just catching some of the fabric there, and then of course we need to tie some kind of little knot, so you can go back in here and catch a little bit of the thread and make yourself a couple knots, one knot, surgeon knot, whatever it is you like to do. I just kind of go back through and finish those off. And that going around the base like I did kind of lifts it up like if there were a shank there, even though there isn't one. And trim those away. I'm going to try to get a little bucket with water to show you guys this stuff going away. Hopefully it's not going to be a problem. I'll be right back. This bucket would be good for something. It's from the Carnival Cruise. It had beer in it, but I was like, I'm sure I can use it for something. So anyway, here it is. Hot water or warm water, and then I just put a little dish soap on this just because I was like, I kind of want to put some dish soap in there. So let's see. It's already feeling slimy and nasty, and I don't know if you can see that, but let's just give it a little rub. This is some thick stuff, I'm telling you. Very interesting. So yeah, back in the day, I just remember it being really flimsy and just like, I don't know. But still feeling, okay, now I'm feeling fabric. It was still feeling a little slimy, but now I'm feeling the fabric. So I'll continue doing this, what, a minute or two? I don't even know. That didn't take very long, but it hasn't even been a minute. What am I saying? I can feel the fabric on both sides now really well. Okay, I'm going to keep kind of giving it a little scrubby scrub, squeezing it the way I am there. And then we'll take a look at our project. Again, you can add your button afterwards, but it was kind of nice actually working with it. I mean, that's all fabric now. But okay, let me go squeeze this out in the sink and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is kind of weird because it's all wet, but we can just bring this back and then you would clip that up. And, you know, I'll clip these little random things, but there it is. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. I'll have images come up. I'll have the link for the project in the description box. And, you know, we can only go up from here, guys. So we're just learning. So thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the description box. And I'll see you all at the next one. Bye now. Oh, I guess I should say, the reason you have this hole here is to put your towel. So this holds your towel, and then your towel is kind of hanging in here. I'll have pictures of it.